Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Falcons, the Men of Northeast Catholic. And I'm joined today by
Mike Norton, class in 1991.
nothing like having another guy in my era that I could, we can relate to because, I have guys from the 46 I had the 60s, the 70s. Great interview today with Jim Schulteis, class of 88. But, 91, right, you said?
Yeah, and John, we were actually neighbors. We lived around the corner from one another and actually hung out and played ball a lot.
Yeah, so, again, we don't see too much of each other, and we had a great childhood growing up. Neighborhoods changed. Obviously, you've seen in some of my videos I put up with the neighborhood, some videos and whatnot. But you ready to take a trip down memory lane, Mike?
Let's do it, man. Ready.
So, first day. Well, you were what, St. Anne's guy, right?
Yeah, I went to St. Anne's. I actually lived on Thompson Street, Thompson and Somerset. Went to St. Anne's the whole time, all the way up to high school.
So your first day at North Catholic. What goes through your mind as you approach this humongous high school?
Well, I knew I was doing band, so the band rehearsed early in the morning. I think it was like 7:30, 7:15, 7:30. So I was up early. I was on the train early, at like 54, to the L. I was on that early, and then my first day started there, and from there, you didn't know what to expect. The only kind of background I got was my brother went there. He was in the band. A couple other guys I'd known were in the band as well. My cousins went there as well, and guys from the mummers and the string band and all that. They went there as well. So I kind of had an idea kind of going in, but still nothing prepares you for the actual moment that you step into something new, especially somewhere you're going to live for 4 years.
So you mentioned the band, and so were you already inside North, the area? Like, did you get introduced to the band, and were you actually able to practice with them guys even before your first day of school?
Not practice with them, but if you had interest, they had something called junior band, and I believe it was held on Saturdays, if I'm not mistaken. And there were people who were learning instruments or people who were in full swing with lessons, and you would go and have they would take saxophones and clarinets, and you go into different rooms and stuff like that. They had practice rooms and little offices, and you would go into there and go through just your basics. If you were I was just learning the instrument at the time, so you went into that room, little beginner book, your scales, your notes, your values, and everything else like that, and that's where you got your building blocks.
So what made North Catholic's band great? I mean, I remember all 4 years the North Frankfurt rallies at the pit. You can go in there. As a matter of fact, I even take it back to my freshman year, not knowing what to expect, and just hearing that live band playing the I guess you want to call it the pump it up music and this and that. What was it about the band that just got everybody so fired up?
I think it was the fact that when you were coming into something new, you walked into that auditorium and you heard that band sitting up front in front of the stage or on the stage, and we had some good tunes, man. Like, if you talk to any band member, the first tune they're going to talk about is something they call PLR, and that stood for Paralos Rumberos. And it was that cooking, little tune, Latin rhythms and stuff like that. And it was that pump you up tune, and I've seen, being in the rallies and stuff like that, being in the pit and the stands, playing for certain things and all that. It's the atmosphere, man. It was the students. It was the things that were going on. It was the band. It was a coordination of everything. you put that all together. I mean, that's what made, that NC and that Falcon fly, man.
I can probably say, and I'm sure, uh, besides the sports, I mean, I've really always looked forward to hearing the band. Like I remember the tune. I don't know if it's the one that goes dan, 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 dan. Like I don't know what the hell it was, dude. But
No,
I heard that, dude, and,
yeah,
and I got goosebumps.
yeah. That's I believe it's Vehicle.
Dude,
Uh,
amazing.
but like, yeah, I mean, we talked about the band. I was watching a bit of Mr. Kosmaszewski last night, and I'm very familiar with Mr. K. Went to Temple with his son, and that's how I got to know his parents and all that. But it's, him talk about how the band was and what it looked like, and they were talking about the uniforms, and like it. I like the military style. I'm a drum corps person, like when I got to Temple, I liked the military style, the marching band there, did some good things. The funny thing was when Mr. K was talking about the uniform was a military type uniform, and it was spiffy, man. It was probably all polyester. It was, the hottest thing you could possibly wear if you were doing a parade in the summertime or in the spring or something like that. Us, we had sport coats and overlays. So it was just like this red sport coat, and then over top of it was this overlay that went in front and back. It was like wearing a bib. You just wore your black pants and your black shoes, and you were good to go. And I know he mentioned or somebody, I forget who it was, mentioned the white shirt with the black tie. We only wore that for concerts, and I think a lot of the indication of the talent came out of the jazz band. And the jazz band was highly competitive, and that's attributed to one of the main guys, Tony Marcione, man. God rest his soul. Like what an influence he was, and Beth Vilsmeyer, Al Rockland, man. Those people, it was like having another set of parents, because they took those kids in, and you were learning life lessons. You weren't only learning music, you were learning life lessons along the way.
So besides band, did you do any sports? Any other clubs?
I tried football my junior year, and I think it was my junior year, or might have been sophomore, probably junior year. But I was on the football field, and I kind of had to make a choice. I was doing good. I did pretty well at what they wanted me to do. I just made a choice to stick with music, and gave up the football thing because the things kind of clashed with one another.
So what kind of commitment people think, okay, band, yeah, okay, wow. But I mean, again, the North Catholic band was phenomenal. What kind of commitment did you have to put in for the band for school?
Well, I mean, the first day I showed up, I was familiar with the notes. I was familiar with the fingering of the notes, how to read a little bit of the music. I wasn't that great. I wasn't great. I wasn't even good. But you were made to sit down in that room and play. It was like, here you go. We're throwing you to the lions. So you're going to sit with all the lions, and you're going to get eaten up. And that was the only way. That was one of the ways you were going to learn. So it was almost scary. Like you just couldn't keep up, or if you were messing up, you almost felt small. But it kind of prepared you for the next time, because they said, I don't want to feel like that again. So your commitment was, you did lessons one time a week. Whoever you're doing lessons with, you practice those. Like the suggested is practice 2 to 3 times, if not more, during the week in between your lessons. And you were also playing in the band room. So yeah, part of that commitment too was, like I said, getting up early in the morning, being there on time, ready to go. And you got into that routine. It was almost like a job. It's like, preparing you for becoming an adult, they're like, all right, I have to get up. I have to be here at a certain time, and it just one lesson after another. Like I said, there's a lot of responsibility. If you cared, you were there all 4 years. If you just wanted to try it out, you could try it out, see how good you did. And, I saw people come and go, and there's a great number of people who stuck around and were part of the program for 4 years.
Let's talk about some of the teachers and the oblates at North had. We had some really interesting characters. And what teacher or oblate, or even both, what stood out to, who stood out to you the most and why?
Well, I mean, it's probably going to be everybody's, like in our era, it's probably going to be Fitz. I mean, he got you to get the job done, and he did it in a pretty interesting way. Like I've never seen, like, he would say certain things to kind of, he would be stern. He would have that face, and then it would be like, hey, all right, we're good, but he was, you could tell he was a leader. He was a guide for all those kids that came into his class. I mean, God, like Father Howard, he's another one. He's straightforward. And these guys were always there to talk. Like if you had an issue or you needed to talk, they listened, man. And I've seen people, go to them and they actually took the time and, just worked things out with them. And like I said, guided them. They were there for a purpose, and they served their purpose for the kids.
One of everybody's top favorites, cafeteria food.
Oh man,
1991. What was Mikey Norton's? What was your go-to food? What was your thing?
I didn't eat in the cafeteria. We were allowed to eat in the band room. So there's a big flight of stairs that once you went in that door, you went down. So there's a big flight of stairs. So it was like you had to eat, and then you had to clean up after yourself. And it was, so anytime I went to the cafeteria to get food and take it back, it was, your cheese fries, your chicken sandwich. They would have things. I remember they would have things where it was like a once in a blue moon type thing, and like you couldn't get, like you had to get there right away to get it, or they were going to be out of it. And for the life of me, I can't remember what it was. I just remember the situations where you jumped in line and you were like, oh, I hope they have more left. And then by the time, no, we're out. And there were some mornings where we didn't have band. And that was a great opportunity to go over because they always had the donuts in the morning, man. God, love those donuts.
So let me ask you this: cheese fries or cheese fries with extra cheese?
I don't like them too sloppy, man. I just like, basic cheese. So that way you can start pulling the ones from the bottom and, just start sliding some of that cheese off. Not too much, man.
Did you ever use the mystery ketchup? And I'm sure you know what I mean by the mystery ketchup. You don't know what you're going to get in it.
That's exactly it.
You're a busy man, dude.
Yeah, it's going off. Hey, kid, let me call you back. Okay. Now, of course, my daughter calls.
She must not know we're interviewing for North Catholic here.
Yeah, exactly.
You better ground her, dude.
Yeah.
So, you never tried the mystery ketchup. That's a good thing, I guess.
No, it's never tried. Never tried it. Yeah, like I became a big ketchup fiend as my life went on, but like I was kind of skeptical about the ketchup that was sitting out in the open, and like who knows what was going on with it, or how old it was, or how long it was sitting out there, or how many people put their hands in it or did whatever.
So I'm sure all the ball breaking going on in school, and main thing was getting your books knocked out of your hand. I was a culprit myself once, and I've done it. Has Mike Norton ever been caught holding his books by the side?
I'm sure it happened. I can't say no. The kind of good saving grace that I had was the band members had lockers in their band room, and
So
we
wait,
all
you
had,
guys really got away with some stuff here. Like
yeah,
you guys were protected almost better than everybody else.
yeah, a little bit, yeah. Like I kept, like morning books downstairs, and then like afternoon books in my my regular locker. And there, I would stop by from time to time. You figure it out. You figure out what you have to carry first thing in the morning, and then like you gauge your times on when you can get to your locker, and throw one book or another. And it's like, yeah, it's like you always held your book to your chest, and made sure that nobody came along. But yeah, I think I've done it one or two times, and especially with friends and guys in the band you're walking with. You just reach over and you just kind of knock one book out of their hand a little bit.
Well, let me ask you this question, because you guys, I'm finding more and more out about you band guys. I mean, did you guys even do jug? Did you get away with jug too, or did you have to serve jug? What's going on here with you guys?
Um, I think I got jug one time, and I think it was because of this. Like, Fitz would always pick on you about looking like a barbarian. And I think I don't like I said, I think I only had jug one time, if any. And like it's just a distant memory. But the thing about like study hall, we used to have a hall pass. The guys in the band used to have a hall pass where um and it became, it was like I had Mr. Butler one year, and the guys that were sitting in study hall with me, it was I forget who it was before me, but it was me. It was like Norton, Ortiz, or Sowski, and then he would eventually come along and he'd look at me and he'd go like that, just because he knew I had the hall pass. And you'd spend your study hall down at the band room. But the thing was, here's another one of his dedication things. If you left study hall to come down to that band room, you had to practice for 15 minutes of that time. So you had to go down, get your horn out, get yourself into a room, and start practice that whole 15 minutes. And if you didn't do that, they were like, you can't come here if you're not going to practice. Like, you're not going to abuse it, So you were made to learn whether you liked it or not.
You mentioned Mr. Butler.
Yeah.
To me, he was an icon.
Yeah.
Can you do a famous Mr. Butler impersonation?
Well, I mean, there were so many. Like, it was more about his mannerisms, man. I he would this. Yeah, you're like he would almost sound like he was drunk sometimes.
Did you know he was on
No.
Jeopardy? I was told he was on Jeopardy.
Get
I don't
out
know
of
who it
here.
is.
I'd be curious to see that. Yeah, he was an interesting character. Like, history was one of my things, and I had him sophomore year, and that was the year that I went with the string band to Poland, and we were, in fact, a couple of months before we left, we were reading the book Auschwitz, and
Yep.
I think it was the 8th day that we were there out of the 2 weeks, and we were by there, and we went into that place, and I tell you what, anything you're reading in history books and anything else like that, you go and visit it. You actually live a part, like, go into it. And like, we were a bunch of idiots. We were all on a bus. You had 2 buses full of, band guys and families, like wives and whatever. We're joking around. We're always joking around on the bus rides and stuff like that. And conversations going on, listen to music, singing. We got off that bus, and as soon as we stood in front of those gates, you could hear a pin drop. Nobody said a word. There was so much reverence for that place, and respect, from those guys for what we were about to see. So yeah.
I remember Mr. Butler would always say to me, and this is my impersonation, he goes, Mr. Levy, if it wasn't for your brother, I'd kill you. So I guess I owe my brother a little bit of gratitude because, yeah, I didn't study worth the heck for Butler's class. But so prom night, Mike, senior prom. Where did you guys go? What kind did you go in style? Who was your date?
I went with a girl that now we're talking senior. I went with a girl that I went to grade school with that always had this, like for each other. Like, you're stupid kids and, you got the high school talked, but, never really, and I took her, it was actually me. I think we were with Tim Sullivan and Andy Trask. And we got a little limo and like one of those cars, like a nice car, like not like the stretch or anything. It was only 3 couples, and we went to a little place to eat afterwards. I think it was a diner. Then we went our separate ways after that. But it was a good time. It was a real good time.
Pulsations nightclub was a big time, and I think the 90s at North Catholic, Father McGee used to organize. Did you ever have a chance to go to Pulsations and enjoy that night? Yeah, I think it was just like a North and a Little Flower thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I did attend one of those nights. Just went about it, and it's funny to hear about some. Listen to Preston and Steve in the morning. They talk about the robot, because they watch the Goldbergs a lot. So like they talk about the robot. The thing came down from the ceiling. So yeah, I was never a big dancer. Those places got hot, man, and the worst thing I hated doing was sweating to death, man. Like if it was getting too hot in there for me, I was just like step outside for some air, or step to the side and take a break for a while.
What would have been your fondest memory of North Catholic?
I would say just overall, the music experience of it all. Yeah, you had your good little things. It was different. We as I got up there in years, it got better playing. Became a part of the jazz band. One of the big competitions I always look forward to would be out at E.L. Myers, which is where Rocket Ishmael went to high school. And, a bunch of school jazz bands would be out there we could be competing against. We've seen some of these. It would just be a weird, clean sweep of North Catholic. I mean, that's how good the jazz band was always prepared, and the talent that it always had. I remember we won all section awards, best overall, a couple solo awards and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, music has been a big part of my life, and I got to thank Tony Marcione for that, for one. My parents for helping me do it. Anything they possibly could to make that happen. It led me to Temple's marching band. I step into Temple's marching band. One of the horn directors comes up and asks me if I want to learn French horn. So I said, French horn? And they're like, yeah. She's like, I know you like drum corps a lot. You want to march this summer? And I was like, yeah, okay. So 1992, I go take Weekend Warriors. I marched Drum Corps Associates, and I marched with a corps called the Bushwhackers, and learned how to play mellophone before the season started. Memorized the part. I was good to go. They come to me before the first competition and said, would you mind switching to baritone? I'm like, I just learned all this music. I memorized it, man. And like, now you're asking me to switch instruments. And, I did that. I think we won all but two competitions throughout the whole summer. Finals comes along, we win preliminaries, and that was it. I got off the field and then drove with a friend of mine from Hershey from Scranton to Hershey because Temple was playing Boston University at Hershey. So we were there. We did pregame, did halftime. It got done halftime. Drove back, found out we won in prelims. March the next day, we win the whole thing. Again, top core, section awards. The only thing we didn't get was top drum section, and we had kick-ass drummers, man. Like those percussionists were unbelievable. We even had bass drummers put down the single, and they put on stacks. So these guys had three bass drums at different pitch, and they played, as they went through the drum solo with those things on. And I can't see how they didn't win, But yeah, like that stuff like that, going through, college and all through that, like I was doing mummers. This is God. I'm coming up on. I started in 86. So I'm coming up on 34 years of being at mummers, man. And that's a trip in itself. And this year I sit home. Well, I didn't sit home, but there was no parade, man. And that was a totally different feel for me. Like, no practices 3 times a week leading up to it. And that's pretty much what, like I said, what North Catholic prepares you for. It prepares you for the future, man. You got your education. You learn things along the way. You got, little things here and there from different teachers, and like like I said, life lessons, man. And as if you learn those lessons as you were going through school and you kept them, and you made them useful in your head and in the things that you did, you set yourself up for success.
I see you got your North shirt on there. Looks like you got a beanbag thing in the back.
Yeah, I got these boards made. I forget the name of the gentleman who did them for me. He's a North Catholic graduate.
Yeah, I'm going to say Sammy.
I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. I could probably get you the name later, but yeah, like decent price, man. The awesome boards too, man. They got the Fighting Falcon at the North Catholic at the bottom. Yeah, good boards, man.
So you got all this nostalgia on. I'm sure your kids, what if they come to you one day and say, Dad, you got all this North Catholic? What was it like? I mean, look, seeing all the stuff of North Catholic you have must have been like a lot of love for the school. But what was it like? What was it like to be a North Catholic Falcon?
I'll tell you what, it's something. If it's something you take pride in, you become it. You become a part of it. It's inside of you, man. That place may have closed, but it's never going to die. I run it. It's amazing how many North Catholic Falcons I have run into along the way. And even being in South Philly String Band, I just saw recently that I believe that I haven't even asked the question yet. I think there is a North Catholic graduate in the band, and I still haven't found it out yet. But it's talk about Bob Kelly. One of the nicest guys. I don't know if you saw the St. Christopher's toy drive that he did and being on TV. Now, you know who Santa Claus was, right?
Is that you?
That was me.
Bob Kelly, if you're watching this video, you promised me a video. Where you at? Let's go.
I'll tell you, like, I'll see if I can get Bob Kelly through my contacts, because I know a couple people who touch base with him and all that to get in touch with you. But yeah, like you see him on TV, he's the same guy in person that he is on TV, and like the guy's a Falcon, those Falcons, man, and he does kind of the stuff that I like to do, man. I give a lot, man. I don't hesitate. I don't expect anything in return. It's just the way the gentlemen who graduate North Catholic have become, man. They all those virtues that they instilled in their students, man. It's, you just become good people, overall good people. And I have yet to meet a guy who is either wearing an NC shirt or an NC hat. When you say, "Oh wow, North Catholic," man, they're not like, "Oh, shut up." They reach their hand out and are like, "Yeah, man, how you doing?" It's a brotherhood. It is definitely a brotherhood, man. And it's, I haven't been able to get down to the Norphans thing. But last year, I said to my father, and actually my father said to me, he said, "Let's go." He's like, "I want to go. I want to go this year." And of course the COVID stuff happened and things fell through. But if it's happening this year, man, I'm getting my tickets first day.
It's going to be a big one. Let me ask you this question. The direction of intention. Do you remember it?
No.
Come on, man. How about the
is that
give it a shot. Give it a shot.
Is that thing that hung on the wall, that the white
sign? The thing that hung on the wall, brother. I'm going to start you off. My God, I give you this class.
Oh no, man. No, man. I couldn't even tell you. I seen it. It's like Homer Simpson says, all the stuff in the brain here. It's like when you put something in new, something else gets pushed out, and that was one of those things, man.
So I'm guaranteeing you don't probably, and I don't either. So I remember the direction of attention, but how about if you remember your freshman year, they had a thing called the Munchkin Salute. Do you remember it?
Oh.
Well, you do remember the Munchkin Salute in general. There was a Munchkin Salute. Because the Grand Wizard came out and something along that line with the hands.
Yeah, something along the lines of that. Yeah, the Grand Wizard came out. You were wearing your stupid white painter's hat, and you were deemed a Falcon once you hit that Munchkin Salute. But I'll tell you what. Let's listen to Mr. K about the words of the alma mater, and being there, being this, the second verse and all that. And I would always say, like, "Oh, do you know the words?" I say, "No, I don't know the words. I never had to know the words because I always played it."
Yeah. Mike, you ready for a little bit of North Catholic trivia?
Hit me, man. I can't guarantee I'm going to know it, but I'll give it a shot.
Okay. What is North Catholic's motto?
Tenui nec dimittam.
Very well, Michael. Very well. If I had a little button here that made a little clapping sound. Okay, yeah. If I had a little thing here that I could make a little clapping sounds, I would do that for you. So, 2009, we all get that word, that North Catholic's closing. You had tremendous times with the band. You ate there. Your books went there. We all left a piece of something there at North Catholic. You get the word. What goes through your mind?
I'll tell you, it was when I first heard. I couldn't believe it. I basically one of the things I said, and this is me and my dad, man. I said to him, "We got to get tickets to the last North Frankfurt game," and we were there. We were definitely there. I wanted to make sure you get that last bit of history in that you were at the last North Frankfurt game. A lot of memories in that place, man. They didn't tear down the main school building, but it's forever changed. And there's going to be people that are walking through that place now that have no idea what happened prior to that.
Very true. Very true. Well, one of my upcoming guests I'm getting ready to interview, I'll throw, since you went to that final North Catholic game. Here's another quick trivia question. I don't know if it's true, but this is what I was told. Who was the Falcon that scored the very last touchdown for North Catholic? And by the way, he will be my upcoming guest.
Oh.
If you don't know any players, I'll just tell you the name.
I didn't know any of the players.
I was told the answer is Eugene Bird.
Really?
So that's what I was told, and been talking to Eugene, and he's going to be an up and coming guest here. This should be very interesting.
Cool.
historic game, man. Historic game.
Yep.
So, tough times, Mike, pandemic. I'm sure, I think told me you were working from home and didn't know there's no movies, no restaurants, this and that. It's slowly starting to open. So you haven't gotten to see family or friends, probably guys from North Catholic. So for all the alumni out there that you haven't seen in years, what kind of message would you like to send to
them? Well, I can tell you, keep it alive for as long as you can. That's why I want to get to these Norfin events. As you know, 2010, there's no more Falcons coming out of those doors anymore, and it's up to us to keep that spirit alive, and to keep that brotherhood still there. That when you see that NC on a T-shirt or a jacket or a hat, that you can go up and say, hey, hey, my name's Mike, class of 91, and they'll say their name and what class they graduated. That's what NC pretty much is all about, because it didn't stop at those four walls, man. It didn't, you hear about all great things. Well, let's Will Fuller, his North Catholic career was ended and he had to go somewhere else, and he went on to be, an NFL football player. So, I mean, I watched him at the Link playing with Notre Dame against Temple. But yeah, keep the Falcon way alive, man. Don't let it die. Keep it there until the last Falcon on earth. You got to keep it alive and just keep that brotherhood going.
Well, I just started thinking, I came up with an idea. When North Catholic was closing, you were able to go through the school. They had pictures there you can look and take that would have been part of the yearbooks, helmet, whatever it was that North Catholic, you could take. People were taking down the direction of attention, which you should have had. You could have studied. But I got a basketball warm-up, and again, I'm going to advertise this. I'm in the midst of getting all North Catholic greats. I already got the okay. Jim Schulteis. I'm going to try to get Barry Brzezinski. All the North Catholic Hall of Famers I'm going to have sign this basketball warm-up. And one of the next few interviews I didn't get a chance to, it's in the closet behind me here. I'm going to have them sign it. Going to put a real nice frame on it, and we're going to sell chances. Again, this is going to be hopefully, we can do the drawing at the Norfin Summer Reunion, and all the proceeds are going to go to the Norfins and whoever they want to, donate it to. I think it's going to be a great cause. So it's going to go in a real nice frame. Again, signed by all the North Catholic greats, Hall of Famers, you name it, they're going to be on there. So I think that's going to be another great thing I'm working on here. So it is what it is, Mike. You know what I mean, buddy?
Yeah, sounds good, man. I like it. And you got me thinking now too, is just how much, Falcons and North Catholic have been kept alive. Even Father Judge, man, they have a trophy case there to honor the school, and that's the respect that they have, and it's really cool of them. They didn't have to do something like that, but they did, and they're they're good guys. They're good people there.
Well, Mike, I want to thank you for taking time away from your family tonight and that phone call from your daughter, but it was an honor to have you on. It was great seeing an old friend again. And I'll hope to see you again this year at the North Catholic Summer Reunion.
I look forward to it, John.
Mike, I appreciate it, brother. Have a good night.
Have a great night, man.